everyone, and welcome to Read This Now, the weekly webcast where Brad Gustafson and I share two books that we love and we think you should read. When, Brad?
Right now, people.
Right this
I felt
second.
very authoritarian right now.
You did. You put your principal voice on there.
Yeah.
You were just like,
I was
Jennifer.
kind of picturing being in a movie or something, but maybe it was a principal role I was playing.
Maybe I was waiting for the Jennifer, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed conversation to come after that.
Oh, no, that's good. That's good.
What you been reading this week, my friend?
I got a good one here, Jen. Funny story for you as well to set up the book, because it's actually why I selected the book. So at school today, I was eating some jelly beans as a reward for kids. Have you seen those beans where it's like, it's green and it's either luscious pear or it's something gross, slime?
No, I haven't seen those.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Kids are just loving this. And what else? There's a blue one. It's either blueberry or toothpaste or butter popcorn. There's a white and yellow one. It's butter popcorn, or it might be rotten egg. So anyway, I'm doing this kind of just as a fun incentive. And I will admit, I did kind of edit some of there were a couple colors I had to take out because I just know myself, right? Okay, I can't do it. So I'm in there and the kids are just they're loving it. They're cheering. They were not happy for me when I was getting the good flavors, but boy, like here's the one that surprised me, stink bug. Do not eat a stink bug flavored jelly bean ever if you have the choice.
That seems like wise advice.
I almost had issues. We'll leave it at that. It was not good. So anyway, now to the book part. People are like, what is going on here? The book part. So the book I want to talk about today will sound familiar. It's The Three Billy Goats Gruff.
Yes.
Okay. Retold by Mac Barnett.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, when the first few pages of this, and if you look at the cover, the jelly bean, like the grossness of what I was eating are on this Trolls menu. Yes. And as I was reading it, I was enjoying it, but I was also thinking of kids while reading it. And it really does get into just stuff I think some stuff that's kind of gross, but that I think kids will like. The picture is you just get a sense that this troll eats really disgusting stuff, just like the jelly beans I had. So there's the connection, but I think the other reason why I think I'm recommending this, or why you should read it right now, is as I'm reading this book, most of us have maybe read 3 Billy Goats Gruff books before.
Or familiar with the tale, sure.
Yeah. So I'm thinking to myself, what warrants another version of 3 Billy Goats Gruff? Kind of like, this better be good is kind of what I was thinking. And but I was also in the moment enjoying it, And then I got to a certain point in the book and I just kind of laughed and had a moment where I felt good. I'm like, okay, that warrants that warrants this version. I enjoyed it. I think kids will. So I don't want to spoil it, but I love the art. I love the aesthetic. I thought it was a little edgy on some of the grossness of the troll, but that builds it up where I think kids will probably like it and relate to it. So for all those fun reasons, I would recommend that you check out The 3 Billy Goats Gruff, retold by Mac Barnett and wonderfully illustrated by John. Is it Klassen?
It's Klassen, yeah.
Okay, really fantastic.
I love it. I got to read that book a while back in an ARC form and was just really excited about it. But it's one of those that I sort of put away because I didn't want to start sharing it until it was closer to the release time. And I just recently was reminded of it. And I saw this review where the reviewer described Mac Barnett and John Klassen as like the perfect picture book rascals for this retelling. And I thought that was so perfect, both for them, but also because when you read the book, you do get the sense that a couple of rascals, took over this fairy tale. I loved that wording. I thought it was great. And I think you're right. Kids are really going to love that book.
Yeah, I think so too. Cool. Yeah, so what do you got?
Okay. So, the book I'm going to share today, I want to be real transparent about a couple things about it. First is that this book was tough for me to get into. Like the first few chapters, I was thinking, am I really going to enjoy this? But I kept on reading it because I'd had so many people recommend it to me. And people, like we have people in our lives who, when they tell us to read a book, you have to do it, right? And so because their recommendations are so good, but the first few chapters, I was thinking, I'm not sure about this. And the truth be told, if I hadn't had so many recommendations, I might have abandoned it. Like I might have decided this wasn't for me and moved on, which is something I encourage kids to do. Readers do that. We know in the first few chapters, often if that book is right for us. Thank goodness I did not listen to that inner voice over the first few chapters and stuck with it, because not only did I love this book, but I literally was like boohoo crying at the end, which doesn't happen to me a lot in books. So that to me is a mark of something really, really good. So I've been excited to share it with you, and also to just share that process, because I think it's important to kind of share what your reading life is.
And Jen, I had a moment like that with the truth of Mason Beadle.
Yes.
I
All
literally
rise
was
for,
like this far
yeah,
away from abandoning it. I stuck
yeah,
with it a little bit because I
yes.
don't like to read books that I don't like, but I ended up falling in love with that one. So I'm vibing with you here.
Exactly. And I felt that way about this book too. The other thing is it reminded me that there's kind of, I don't know what you call this genre of books. It's like a subset of some other genre where it's like 90% realistic fiction taking place in a world that absolutely you and I could live in, but there's just a smidge of magical, like sort of sci-fi elements in it. I don't know what that genre is, but I love books like that. And this book is like that. So let me first share the cover. It's Hummingbird. And I mean, look how gorgeous this is, by Natalie Lloyd. And one of the things that's important to know is that Natalie Lloyd shares something in common with her main character, Olive, in that they both were born with a disability, the name of which is long and very, medically complicated. I haven't practiced it, so I don't know the long name, but I know that both she and her main character, Olive, refer to it as OI. Those are the initials of the two words, right? That make up the disability. They're both born with this. And Olive, our main character in the book, she has lived a very sheltered life as a result, in the sense that she has always wanted to go to public school, but her mom and her dad, who are very, very protective of her, haven't wanted her to go, because her disability, OI, causes her bones to be, as she describes, hollow and like filled with lace in the middle. They are easily broken. Not literally lace, but if you like looked at an x-ray of her bones, instead of being solid, they are hollow and very, very fragile. So just even the slightest fall or the slightest wrong movement, and she can break a bone, and those bones are very hard. It's difficult for them to heal.
Mm.
So when she's out in public, she's in a wheelchair, and every time she breaks a bone, she has to learn to re-walk again, et cetera, et cetera. So as the book starts, Olive is getting ready for 6th grade. She's been homeschooled her entire life, but what she wants more than anything is to go to public school so that she can meet her future BFF. She knows there's a friend out there for her somewhere. She wants to find that friend. She also wants to perform in the school play because she feels like she was destined to be on a stage, but she's got this job of convincing her mom and her dad that it's time for her to do that, right? Olive is super lucky in that she has two parents who love her, who are incredibly supportive of her, an entire family who thinks she's the best thing since sliced bread, but she's missing the friendship circle and that social circle. She really wants that desperately. So as the book opens, that's her job, is to try to convince her family that she could go to public school. And on the day that she convinces them, other magical things start to happen in their town. Olive lives in a small town in the Appalachian Mountains. And on the very day that she's convinced her mom, in fact, on the car ride home, all of a sudden it starts to snow, which doesn't sound like it's too unusual, except when they get up close to the snow, they realize it's not snow at all, it's feathers, which ignites this entire sort of magical spirit in the town as they remember this legend, this Appalachian legend about a magic hummingbird that appears every so many years to only one person, and that person gets a wish. The whole town sort of goes crazy, and the whole middle school goes crazy thinking about how they're going to be the person to find the magic hummingbird. But this sort of elicits a conflict in Olive, because Olive, her entire life, even though she has this disability, is happy with her life, happy with herself. She, like I said, she has this loving, supportive family. She's never felt that she's less than, that she's incapable. Her family has always built her up to believe in herself. But as she starts to think about perhaps finding this magic hummingbird, she goes from wishing things like the hummingbird will help her find her BFF, to the hummingbird will get her the lead in the play, to other thoughts that are really frightening to Olive, like maybe she could ask the hummingbird to give her normal bones, something she's never wished for before, because her life is fulfilled even with her disability. And so as the book goes on, Olive tries to like work through her feelings about what's really important and what she really wants. Meanwhile, the sort of magic and the mystery of the hummingbird pervades the whole town and creates this really magical community that has to work together to decide what's really important to them. I loved it so, so much. And I think this cover sort of captures the magic of it. It's called Hummingbird. It's by Natalie Lloyd. And I think you should read it right now.
I love it. There is something just magical about book covers, children's book covers, young adult, and that one is certainly one of the exemplars.
Plus, Brad, you know, this time of year, we're getting towards the end of the year. As we record this show, the National Book Award finalists were released today, were named today. That means that in just a couple months, the Youth Media Awards are going to be, people are going to be talking about those, and those will be released, sort of the Oscar day for people who love kid literature, right? Every year, I always think about the Schneider Family Book Award, which is the award that is given to books that celebrate the disability experience. And every year, I think I struggle to find books that would even qualify for that award, because there's so few books that are written with those experiences front and center, where the main character is living life through the lens of having a disability. It's hard to, I struggle to find those books every single year. So when I find a book like this one, where Olive is dealing with a disability in a way that I think is kind of unique, it makes me wonder if it'll like end up on that award list. Have no idea, but I think it's certainly worthy of praise and for people to read it. So I hope they will.
Wonderful. Thanks for sharing, Jen.
Thank
if you are looking for other books that Jen and I have talked about and recommended, you could go to bit.ly/read_this_now.
That's the one.
And next week, Jen and I are planning to have a little surprise on the show. So that's in the biz, that's what they call a teaser.
It is a little surprise that I'll give a hint. Am I allowed to give a hint?
Sure.
That's sort of, it's a surprise that's in keeping with the season we're in. Let's say that.
Okay.
It's a seasonal surprise.
All right. Now I'm intrigued. Just kidding. I know what it is.
Wow. All right, my friend. Thank you so much for a great show. Thank you to our 3.5 viewers. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next week. Happy reading, everyone.